there will be no real non-controlled currency in the world.
We're coming for you, banks.
Bitcoin is punk rock. Deal with it.
You split, we bankrupt you.
Do you use Lightning wallets to pay for things or not?
No.
Bitcoin Cash would be seen as more of a threat to the United States hegemony than Bitcoin.
Miles Town, what's your favorite kind of money?
Bitcoin Cash.
Hello and welcome back to the Bitcoin Cash podcast. Following Bitcoin Cash on its rise to global reserve currency, this is episode number 42, SmartBCH and the meme competition long promised, featuring Luke Pryor. Today is Sunday, the 13th of March, 2022. And my guest is a BTC/BCH fan, a big SmartBCH commentator, regularly chats in the Telegram group for Bitcoin Cash. So going to give us some key insights there as well. But welcome to the show, Luke. How did you get into Bitcoin?
I got into Bitcoin originally. It was actually the Joe Rogan podcast when he had Andreas on. That
was in 2013, right? You told me, but I think he was also on in 2014 or 2015, 2015.
Yeah, I think it was 2014. I think it was the second time. I don't think I caught it until he had him on again, I believe. Simpler times when it was only Bitcoin on Coinbase.
Yeah, I mean, Andreas got a bit wrecked in the end, I think, because Joe stopped inviting him back on. He went on multiple times, like while Bitcoin was still popping off and it was a thing. He went on once to explain it, and then he did sort of a follow-up one. You know how Joe Rogan has his sort of favorites that he brings back on a few times because they're still relevant and in the discussion. But there's been no Andreas Antonopoulos, as far as I know, for 5 years or something.
Andreas used to be a lot cooler. He's super cringe. I never realized how cringe he was. He's actually blocked me on Twitter. I have no idea why.
Oh man, you've been targeted.
I think I just replied to one of his tweets. I just asked like an innocent question one time and he blocked me. Like, he just blocks you on Twitter. You can't even ask a question.
I think you got a lot of that vibe on Twitter, mate. You've got a good way of putting in rustling comments. You know, somebody says something and you just put in a question, and it's literally just a question, but it's the exact question that's going to annoy them based on whatever their opinion was. You know, you're sort of exposing the wrong side, like the question that the hard question to answer. So yeah. It's definitely pretty funny.
yeah. Asking a question is like my favorite method of like. It's like the Socrates method.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah. Like, you ask questions until they're forced to realize like what they come to, like their own conclusion. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Instead of just shoving it down their throat, you know, nothing's as convincing as somebody convincing themselves, I guess.
Yeah. So even though Andreas is super cringe and he blocked me on Twitter, I will forever be in debt to him because he exposed me to Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And I was able to buy Bitcoin when it was much cheaper. So I can't be mad.
And then at a certain point you switched over to I don't know if you're all in BCH.
I own zero Bitcoin. Bitcoin.
Good stuff. And what convinced you to make that transition? Because I know you weren't like straight onto it right after the fork, right?
Well, I'll be honest, Leo, I'm a capitalist, so I know I can make more money in alts.
Yeah, nice.
You know,
yeah.
So
follow the money.
That's why I own alts, so I can make more money than holding Bitcoin.
Yeah, solid.
And I'm not one of those guys. I don't take profits into Bitcoin. Like some people. I take profits into silver, real estate, Bitcoin Cash.
Bit of a portfolio. You've got the whole gamut. Nice.
I don't just own Bitcoin. I'll be honest with you guys. I don't just own Bitcoin. I don't think Bitcoin Cash is my current biggest holding even.
Yeah, it's fine. Like on this show, like there's no requirement that you have to be massively invested in.
It's very close though. Bitcoin Cash is a top 3, and crypto is very volatile, so it fluctuates.
Yeah,
I honestly don't even. I'm not even sure what my biggest bag is right now.
Yeah, you got a spread. You know, I like hearing people's dabbling around with all the different coins because I just don't have enough time to follow it and keep track of what's good. And I just don't believe in pretty much like 99% of them anyway. So
yeah, and you never know which one's going to outperform. And so I have more Bitcoin Cash than I would have because I held other coins that have outperformed.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, something just pops off and suddenly it's like a big chunk of your portfolio. I think that's an important way for people get into crypto as well too. Is I always try and sort of advise people if they're interested, like just put in a little bit, just because you won't be stressed. It's all good. That's fine. You're not going to be freaking out about it. But then if it does like grow, then they have a real incentive to take interest, and they also don't feel like they're going to easily be, in the red and worried about, oh, what happened to all my money and stuff,
Right.
All right. First up, then we got the price market. I've got to update these titles. I forgot to update it this week. USD $286 per BCH. One BTC buys 134 BCH. So not at the all-time lows. It has come back off the low a little bit, but still relatively quite low. So I guess you're just talking about speculating, in the different altcoins and stuff. How regularly do you follow the price? What do you look for? And I know actually you were recently doing some price analysis on the BTC BCH ratio as well too. So what's your thoughts on the market?
Well, right now we're tightening sideways. We've been tightening for quite a while now. It looks like to me like we'll know if we're in a bull market or a bear market probably this week. You see, you have to understand like markets can only get so tight. So when you make a high, then you make a low, then you make a lower high, higher low, lower high, higher low, and then you tighten. Eventually you have to come to a decision point, and we're getting very close to that decision point.
Right. So if let's say from here the price goes up, it hits this like breaking end of the wedge, right? If people can imagine like a wedge, sloping down until it gets right to the tip, and then after if it breaks up, and let's just say crypto as a whole, or maybe the ratio of BTC BCH goes up, 10%, you would take that as indication that for the next 6 months we'll be in a bull market, right?
Right. Yeah, we're getting close to a decision point. As far as the BCH Bitcoin ratio, it's a little more tricky. The hope is that it seems to be making like it's making lower lows, but every lower low on the ratio is getting less and less follow through.
Yeah.
So that's similar to, if you drew it, it's a falling wedge.
Yeah. So the people who are selling out are sort of slowly, washing out of the market. That's like I've said on this show before, I'm not a big trader type or anything, but I do like the concept of accumulation, which is basically the traders are trading away, but then there's kind of an undercurrent of people who are like me who just buy some and then they're just using it or whatever, and that percentage is just slowly building up until some of the traders sell out and think, oh, I'll be real clever and I'll buy back in, but then it doesn't go down again, and then at a certain point they all realize, oh crap, and then they all start piling in on top of each other, and that's when the price starts going bananas.
Yeah, and BCH right now is still my favorite risk reward in crypto. Of course, there'll be alts that outperform it probably when we go up again. I mean, look what Dogecoin did. There's going to be some meme coins that outperform it, I'm sure. But BCH is still my favorite risk reward. It's people don't understand, I think, how low risk it is, right? It's on every exchange. Sometimes they hide it, but every time there's an announcement on like, oh, we're going to accept 4 coins. Bitcoin Cash is always one of the 4 coins, right? It's almost always Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, Bitcoin Cash.
It's got that longevity, I think. Right. And that's another aspect to it that I feel it's kind of just playing the long game, is because if there's any moment where BCH starts getting hype, suddenly there's so many people that will be like, man, this is still here, this is still going, it's still kicking. You can't ignore that kind of resilience over the very long term, I think.
Like, it's not going away at this point. And it's got plenty of liquidity for the average person. It's on all the major exchanges, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, a lot of the other ones that
make it and then compared to its potential from like utility, it's very underpriced.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's probably just a question of the sort of brand being overshadowed is probably just the number one biggest factor. But as time goes on, I think the community is differentiating itself more and more. Also just by accident, because the BTC community are becoming less and less interested in the kind of evolving edge of the marketplace too. So that also plays into it, I think. Right.
And the Bitcoin maxis do hold a lot less sway than they used to already.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like most people are altcoin maximalists now. Bitcoin maxis are not the norm anymore.
Well, yeah, you just can't show up to the market these days and look at coin market cap and just when Bitcoin was 95%, it was obvious that was where all the action was. But now, people just finding their way into it. So I like that the crypto market is getting more decentralized. As a whole, I do think that's a good thing.
Yeah, it is good in some ways. You're right.
All right, cool. So let's take a look at the transaction count. We've got 55,000 transactions per day roughly on BCH. It has risen a little bit. I've been very interested in the fact that BCH has not, even though at a grand scale, it does kind of copy BTC. Like if the crypto market as a whole is heating up, they both will rise a little bit and they'll both sort of fall a bit the other way. But BTC definitely has this Monday to Friday pattern where it drops off on weekends because I guess everybody is not at their trading desk or whatever. But BCH doesn't really have that. It's much less noticeable day to day, and there's just more people just using it on whatever day of the week they're kind of using it. So yeah, when you're looking at the market, do you follow the on-chain stats or anything like that to help you in your analysis, or do you just follow the Reddit boards, or what do you do to know which coins are good?
No, I don't follow on-chain most of the time. The reason is because if there's on-chain activity it's increasing, generally that will increase price. So price is still king.
Yeah, price is kind of that signal that gets a lot of people hyped up. Once the price is going up, everyone feels like they're a genius and it's time to invest. Yeah, I love it. Right. And the cent in USD as well this week. Yeah, just no major change. I mean, I love checking in on this graph every week because eventually there's going to be some big moves. When there is big moves on this chart, it's very, very important to pay attention. But I have kind of considered maybe I should only start bringing it up when it's relevant, because there's just long periods of time where nothing's really changed. But in the grand scheme of things, like if we hit another huge bull run or stuff, it'll be really obvious from this chart starting to pick up. But that's just my main on chain.
Yeah, that's what this chart's telling us is, a lot of people, especially like the XEC crowd, the forked, they talk about scalability. Scalability is nowhere close to being a problem for Bitcoin Cash right now. What we need is people using the chain far more. You know what I mean? You have to have priorities.
Yeah, you've got to have a reason to get people to invest, and I think that's or to transact rather. And I think one of the most interesting points that we saw this week was we were talking about the XEC crowd were kind of busy trying to sort of throw some mud over the fence to BCH and saying, oh, what are these guys doing? They're losing focus. They're trying to make themselves an Ethereum clone and they're blah, blah, blah. They've forgotten about peer-to-peer cash and all that stuff. And it's just the most ridiculous take because I mean, they are doing, firstly, they're not focused on their own project. Apparently, they're still worried about our project, which defeats the whole point of splitting off. And then secondly, it doesn't really matter how great your peer-to-peer cash is if nobody has an actual reason that draws them in. And it's proven in the marketplace that EVM compatibility, the ability to do yield farming, maybe mess around with some NFTs, do all this stuff, that gets a lot of eyeballs. People actually want that. They will come for that. And then maybe once they're in the door, then now they're like, wait, this is actually a pretty cool separate economy. But it doesn't really matter if you have the world's best scaling coin, but no one wants to use it, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's only two coins really with scaling problems, right? And that's Bitcoin and Ethereum.
Exactly. And that's
the vast majority of chains are basically dead as far as activity goes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. And it's only once you start to, and it's kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy in some ways because those two, BTC and ETH, they did manage to hit on the formula of getting a ton of people interested, but then once you do that, you have scalability problems. But it's kind of ironic because the best time to fix the scalability problems is before you have them, which is why you have chains like BCH or like XEC or other ones all worried about their scalability because they're hoping that when they hit it big, they'll be able to kind of capitalize and they won't get roadblocked. But in some ways, it is still putting the cart before the horse,
Yeah, I mean, BCH is like a factor of 1,000 away from scaling problems. You know what I mean? Like,
if our scene grows 1,000x, we'll be crushing it already. There'll be a lot of talent. to fix
BCH
those
could literally
problems.
handle 1,000x more transactions, no problem. You know,
Yeah,
and I'm pretty
exactly.
confident even if we really had to, the community could probably almost handle gigabyte blocks.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
that-
They've
I
already
mean,
proven they can do 128 megabyte blocks with a Raspberry Pi. Like we're not far from a gigabyte.
yeah.
Well, they did a gigabyte ScaleNet right on a Raspberry Pi 4.
Yeah. So we have literally 1,000x, more than 1,000x runway for the main chain still.
Yeah, that's right. It's really not a problem. And one of the things I was looking at recently as well was some analysis by Jamison Lopp. He's a big BTC guy that came up this week where he was kind of shitting on BSV because they are kind of doing that after a weird fashion where they're just churning out these like 3 gigabyte blocks, but it's not, none of it's actually transactions, you know, it's all just this spam of dog pictures and random on chat. So for some reason, I don't know what it is, but people in Bitcoin
Checking
SV,
the weather.
yeah, they can't understand that it's a currency. It's not Google Drive. I don't know what it is that gets into their head where they like read the white paper. They're like, Bitcoin, a peer-to-peer electronic cash system. Well, this sounds like AWS storage. I don't know what that is, but it seems to be huge in their scene. And I watched a debate actually recently from Colin Enstad he had with this guy a couple of years ago, just because I was digging into it. I was thinking, I kind of wonder how this all played out. And Colin says to him like, yeah, okay, I'm interested in peer-to-peer cash, you know what it says in the white paper. And the guy was kind of aggressive with him saying, yeah, but do you have something against Google Drive? Can we, you know, why can't we do that as well too? Are they mutually exclusive? Like you can have both. And Colin was sort of like, well, you can't, because if you spammed up your chain with 4 gigabyte blocks, I mean, we're about scaling, but it's still not like, let's just host the entire internet on our blockchain. That's just idiotic. So yeah,
I mean, it's permissionless, right? So if someone wants to upload videos to BCH, they're welcome to do so, but I wouldn't recommend it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, firstly, the community doesn't encourage it, but also the op return has a limit to it. So it would be much more expensive. In BSV, they just took off or relaxed a lot of those limits. And so then, of course, a bunch of people spam the chain. And it's just really interesting to see this analysis from the BTC side, just being like, haha, look, on-chain scaling sucks. You guys screwed it up. And that's true if you're looking at BSV. It's just weird that BCH is in that middle lane where we still have less, the blockchain is actually far smaller of BCH than BTC because less people have been using it since they've been split. So we're not really going to find out until BCH is already putting through more volume every day than BCH for years, probably, or it would have to be putting through tons more volume. And at that point, it's going to be too late for the BTC crowd to wake up because our community will be enormous if we get to that stage, you know?
Right. And yeah, there's much more, going back to like storing photos and videos and stuff on chain, there's much more efficient. You don't need the blockchain to do that. Like people also get confused, like what the blockchain's good at or what you need it for. Like the vast majority of stuff you don't need a blockchain for, you know, and there's other ways to do it. You can just use Bitcoin Cash. You can use a hash to verify that it's a photo and then put the photo onto what's it called? IPFS. And
Yeah, exactly.
It's much more efficient. There's no reason to use the chain that way.
Yeah, I could see it being valuable if you want to use it in like a WikiLeaks style fashion, but even then it makes more sense to just use a like the verification signature, because otherwise you have that potential traceability back to, you know, an input, and that's not really ideal in that context.
Yeah. Everybody just, I think I personally, that's another reason I don't believe in a lot of these other projects is because I'm like, it was invented for money and it works for money if everybody gets the right idea about that. But so much of this other stuff, I'm like, this is just nonsense. I'm glad somebody is trying it because they can learn by experimentation. And,
yeah. I think what BCH is really good at right now is just finding that happy medium.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, where you have to, you have to limit some things, right?
Yeah. You don't want to, you just don't want to go nuts. And I also think it's just a good sign of the community is not insecure. Like the BSV community is obviously very insecure that they're always going on about how they've got the biggest blocks. And it's like, bro, you guys are in you're now
It's
out
like
of the
block
top
energy.
60. Like, it doesn't really matter. You can tell us, oh, we've got these huge blocks. It's like, it's obviously spam. Like, no actual people care. You know, that's just the
No one's actually using BSV for like,
money. Yeah, who is paying for their burger with BSV? Nobody.
No one's using DeFi on it or anything.
Yeah, exactly. Such a
they have very few real BSV seems to be dying to me.
I think it's dying too. There's one good guy, Joshua Hensley. He has some really good videos, but the problem is that he's somehow bought into the Kool-Aid a little bit too much. And you watch his stuff and you're like, you would be awesome if you were in the BCH community, but you just kind of missed it by this much, and just you're gonna suffer. He has so many videos where he's like, the price is dipping off. Everybody thinks we're finished. But hopefully we're not. And it's like, oh man, just save yourself, please.
Yeah. It's so much like the EOS crowd.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, hopefully we can bring some of them back into the fold at some point. All right, I wanted to talk about SmartBCH a little bit. Obviously, we've already touched on it because that's one of your fortes. The ecosystem has been slowly but steadily kind of building up. Coins locked has hit a new all-time high today. 101,679. So that's that's a pretty good amount of growth. We've now gone past 300 BCH burnt. We've had the healthy DEX economy, obviously. Kazumi, who is the dev for MistSwap, just recently announced a fork of the Ethereum name system, the ENS for SmartBCH. And just as I thought it through, we really have not had a lot of rug pulls or technical issues with SmartBCH. It's been around now for, let me think, nearly 9 months. And in the initial period, there was one or two small ones, but the ecosystem's been pretty scam free and pretty effective so far, So I just wanted to get your take on how, are we ahead of where you expected or behind, given when it launched?
I would say we're ahead overall. Right now, SmartBCH is in a little bit of it's lagging a little bit because it's kind of what happens in DeFi is like it happens in bursts. Like I've saw this a lot in like Ethereum and like the other DeFi ecosystems. So like when SmartBCH first happened, there was like a massive burst of activity, right? There's a bunch of new dexes, farming yields are out the window. It's raining money, NFTs, everyone, and then people hop into the next dex, to the next dex, and they yield farm that. And then that created like the hype, right? And that created the the first initial burst. Now what SmartBCH needs is more mature platforms that start to get network effects and some of the second layer like DeFi applications. Not like second layer like off chain. I mean like second layer like DeFi is like building blocks.
Yeah.
So I would say like TangoSwap is kind of one.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's a 1-inch fork, so it's an aggregator of all the different dexes.
Yeah, exactly.
That's kind of like another layer on top, right? Because it's an aggregator of all the other dexes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and then you have the more advanced. I mean, I don't know them all in detail, to be honest, but then it gets into like compound or whatever it's called, and a lot of those like lending protocols and stuff on Ethereum. So yeah, once you have the first thing, then you can build the second thing, and then you can build the third thing. It's just more
lending.
Financial
lending is one of those like second layer sort of things that should be coming online. I think Mist is working on a I don't know if it's like a compound fork or if it's their own thing, but it's some sort of lending that will be big for the ecosystem. Also, some kind of like trustworthy Oracle, like Chainlink type system.
Yeah.
That will be big. Also SHA-Gate. I think a lot of the big money probably is still waiting for SHA-Gate.
Yeah, so we're kind of waiting for this decentralized bridge, and the idea was that it was sort of promised at the start of all this that the May 2022 upgrade, which adds bigger integers and a couple other little things, would unlock this ability to have a decentralized bridge between BCH and SmartBCH. The latest update on that is that, so we're going to get the May upgrade is looking all sorted. Everybody seems pretty happy with that. But Kui Wang, the lead developer, the SmartBCH, recently announced on one of the BCH network discussions that it looks like the actual SHA-Gate is on track for sort of September.
You said September at the latest, I believe.
Okay, all right. Maybe he did. I mean, I always tend to give more time.
I've probably never seen a crypto project release something on time.
Yeah,
I can't remember. Like, it's just, software developers, they always underestimate.
Yeah, exactly. Things always take a long time to get sorted. But I think actually that's kind of a good thing, in the sense that I'm happy they're not rushing it. I saw Josh Ellerthorpe had some good takes about this, and I 100% agree, which is that there's going to be a lot of money on the line and a lot at stake. If we have to wait an extra 2 or 3 months, but they get it right, that is far, far, far preferable to launching something, because in bridges and in general in crypto have had so many problems. It's such an area fraught with security concerns, people are able to lose lots of money, small things go wrong here and there accidentally, or hackers get involved or whatever. And so, I mean, as long as they need to get it right, and given the track record, the whole SmartBCH program and everything has been launched with very few problems, really. For a project of its size, it's been amazing how little bumps in the road there's been, really.
Yeah, I think a goal should be, by the end of the year, we want to have a fully operational SHA-Gate, and we want to have at least most of the. I think it supports 50 validators. Yeah, we want to see more validators. We want to see SHA-Gate, and we want to see that mechanism where 50% it's automatically being burned, and then 50% is automatically going to the miners. Yeah, we want to see all those. We want to see the whole. I think we'll be able to see the whole picture. From a technical standpoint, it'll be all operational by the end of this year. I think that SHA-Gate will probably happen by September timeframe.
Yeah. The team's been pretty good about delivering. So if that's when they say they're going to do it, then I believe them, and it makes sense given the May upgrade and then a couple months for them to put in their own special source. So I'm liking the sound of that, and that's still 6 months away from now, but it'll come around fast. And I think it's important because other coins will have a hard time copying this kind of thing. Maybe it does take a little bit longer. Maybe it is, a bit more of a hassle than initially conceived, but the momentum is so big in crypto that once you grab the momentum and you're the one sort of leading the pack, it's very, very hard for other coins to kind of scramble along behind you and catch up. So
yeah, I mean, there's lots of other coins now with like bridging sort of mechanisms, but what makes Bitcoin Cash special is that it's fact that it's UTXO based and it's mineable.
Yeah, proof of work. Yeah.
Another big problem that makes SmartBCH special is I think Ethereum would actually probably have flipped Bitcoin by now if all these sidechain projects use locked Ethereum. Yeah. Like Polygon, for example. All these Ethereum sidechains decided to make their own token.
Why'd they do that? Was it just that then they could cash themselves in with they could get
it's probably it's probably easier to raise money. It's probably easier from a technical standpoint than creating a bridge where you have to lock the Ethereum. Although it should be doable. I mean, if Ethereum has more smart contract capabilities than Bitcoin Cash, so I imagine a SHA-Gate type system, I don't see why it wouldn't be possible on Ethereum. I don't know if anyone's done it.
Yeah, it's a good question, actually. Why haven't they been?
So what happens is that, even though Polygon and these other chains use Ethereum as their security, they're essentially another layer one because they don't share the same liquidity. It's a different token. Yeah. Just using the same token is highly underrated because they share the same liquidity.
Yeah, exactly. And it goes to that same point you were saying about with all the existing exchange integrations as well. It doesn't need to refight that battle over and over and over again with every different exchange. Are you going to add this? Do we have to be in contact with you, tell your devs like this is how to do our coin specifically, blah 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 blah. Like all those problems are just instantly solved. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, but I think probably a lot of the big money is probably waiting for a SHA-Gate. But by then, we'll have lending products, and the ecosystem will also be more ready for big money. Yeah, it'll be more mature, the ecosystem.
Exactly. These things just take time, and that's why it's really important that everything has just been cooking away now. It's just simmering. That's how I think it's on the stove. It's just boiling away, and by the time it's ready to go, that meat is going to be nice, juicy flavor.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. One thing I wanted to also just chat about quickly, and then we'll get onto the memes. I can see people in the chat. They're here for the memes. We will get to the memes. We've got a lot of memes. But one thing I also want to
Where are the memes?
The people demand memes. We will deliver, I promise. But one other thing I quickly wanted to talk about was I've recently been thinking about this idea of redenominating in BCH, right? Because it sort of came up again because the eCash people were trying to sort of poke their nose in, and their whole thing was, oh, we did a coin split, 1,000,000 to 1, so now there's however many quadrillions of eCash.
Right.
But I think that was a terrible idea, because even though it sort of fixes the UI problem, which is that people like having whole amounts, they don't like having 0.0034 eCash. On the other hand, because they did that, they're now a Bitcoin fork where it's not 1-to-1. Like if BCH tried to do the same thing, we would just instantly, I think, be written off, because what you want to be able to do is go on CoinMarketCap and see Bitcoin is this price and BCH is this price. And if the price of one BCH is higher, then it's better, right? It's that simple. Yeah. And so if you split like that, you kind of screw yourself up, right? So that's what I felt like they did. But the BTC community, meanwhile, have finally got a bit of momentum on this idea of using satoshis instead of using a certain amount of Bitcoin. And there was like MrBCH has been, proposed for a while, and also bits, which is so one Bitcoin or Bitcoin Cash has 1,000 millibits in it, and then those 1,000 millibits each have 1,000 bits, and then 100 of them is a Satoshi, right? So there's 100 million Satoshis in a Bitcoin, and all of that is just like, it's a lot for people to understand, and because there's no way to standardize it besides time, it just hasn't really happened. So I kind of feel like maybe we need to get on board this train that BTC is doing of just moving everything down to Satoshis, because then you're dealing in like much larger units initially. You don't need to mess around with the exchanges, and as the price rockets up, then the amount of Satoshis just like massively drops, and everybody can understand that. So I don't know. Do you think this is a good idea? Is this where the ecosystem should be moving?
I don't know if it's a good idea or a bad idea. What I will say is that these sort of things, like with language, tend to happen spontaneously. Like, I don't think that I highly doubt the Bitcoin Cash community will like come together and decide, oh, we're going to move towards this sort of like slang. You know what I mean? These things sort of like, like how our language evolves with slang, it just kind of happens naturally.
Yeah.
I think we'll move towards some sort of slang for smaller units. I don't know what it will be. I mean, honestly, for now, I think the best UI for most wallets is just that it's denominated in dollars.
Yeah.
Some people don't like that for whatever reason, but from a user perspective, from like, it's easy. Everything is priced in dollars.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think people sort of want to really kind of get over that hump a little bit, in the sense that even though it's a fine line, the difference between somebody who's in crypto to make fiat and somebody who's in crypto because crypto is now their money, you can be over that line and crypto is your money, but still just kind of be referencing it against dollars. But that's very hard to distinguish from somebody who's in crypto because they're trying to make dollars. So I think switching over to satoshis or whatever helps people feel really like, no guys, we're serious. It's going to be all crypto, and we got to start thinking of that as the base currency.
I mean, that will happen naturally as Bitcoin Cash reaches a certain point, I think. For now, especially with how volatile crypto is, I think it's very difficult to try to get people to think in units. The vast majority of people still think about in terms of not either dollars or their local currency. And that's not going to change anytime soon.
Yeah, exactly. And I guess it's also just because not only because you use it regularly, but because you're always regularly comparing it to goods. So, like one dinner is about, 15 to 20 British pounds, and one laptop is about, 2,000 pounds. And like you have those reference points in your mind. And so people are still sort of backwards rationalizing like their crypto units into their fiat currency, into the actual goods, because unless you're actually buying stuff regularly, it's hard to remember, on top of the volatility as well, how much.
It's not, I really don't think it's really doable at any time soon. I'm just being honest. You know what I mean? I wouldn't be. I wouldn't even be surprised if we reached an intermediate, like an in between point where Bitcoin Cash was priced in gold.
Yeah,
But you're right. I mean, the dollar is getting more volatile. Fiat
Yeah.
currencies are getting more and more volatile right now as we enter this hyperinflation. You know, and so I wouldn't be surprised if we started pricing things in gold.
Yeah, people are definitely having to become a little bit more flexible. I saw there was a good meme somebody did of like the price of oil, gasoline in the US is now higher than the price that they set in the I Am Legend. That when was that? That was like 2005 or something like that. It's kind of
A
movie
little
from
later
about
than that.
maybe 2007, maybe, I don't know, mid 2000s movie. And so they had, you know, the price of oil on the sort of decrepit gas stations was this ridiculously high price. Like, wow, the world has really ended, but we're now there. So things are certainly getting a bit out of hand. All right, onto the memes. So we got the meme competition that you came to me and said, let's do a meme competition. And I said, hell yeah, let's do it. So obviously it's for fun, basically. But I kind of wanted to make the point that there's a bit of a serious like angle to it, or we're actually trying to make a point here, which is that if you're being in crypto, it should be fun because that's how people get involved. That's how people stay engaged.
Yeah, it needs to be fun. I agree.
Yeah. You know, if crypto is like boring, then you know, that just sucks. Like it's supposed to, that's one of the big differentiators between fiat. Nobody ever had fun with their fiat currency, right?
Yeah, that should be a lesson. I think that's a lesson from Dogecoin.
Yeah.
To be honest. Like you don't have to take yourself so seriously. Like,
exactly. And just the act of being part of crypto, it should be fun. That's how people get involved, because they're like, look at these people over here having fun and I'm sitting over here not involved. Like it sucks for me, you know. And I guess crypto also naturally just plays into that, because when it's very emotionally driven to begin with. When the price is going up, where everybody's depressed, and when you're depressed because the price has gone through the floor, that's a great time for some humor to kind of relieve the tension as well too. So yeah, I think that
bear market memes are in some ways funnier.
Yeah, that's right. That's the deep cuts. That's when you really get.
Yeah, that got me through the 2018.
Yeah.
The boat. Or 2000, let's just say 2019, more or less. Or 18, 19.
Need some crypto comedian. Somebody's got to be that's an open slot. Somebody could be the crypto comedian who's, you know, starts making bits and stuff referencing specifically into like crypto culture. But you can't, it gets a bit cringe if you just only do that, right? But somebody
lots of Bobo memes. A lot of them came from 4chan, you know, all the red Wojak memes.
I was surprised to see that Chainlink didn't get bigger than it is because of how much 4chan was memeing its existence. I
mean, I would argue it got really big. It got bigger than it should have been.
That's fair.
Still pretty big. What rank is it right now?
I think it's like 1 or 2 above BCH last I checked.
Okay, but it was like it was in the top 10 or something, wasn't it? For a little
I'll be honest, I don't really understand Chainlink.
Neither do I.
I don't touch it because I don't buy any coin I don't understand.
It's 23rd right now, but it was as high as like 10, wasn't it?
I don't know. Chainlink could be the top 10. I mean, I know that a lot of projects use Chainlink and it seems to be important to the ecosystem. The coin doesn't really seem to have much utility.
From my understanding, it's just an oracle, which makes me wonder why it needs to be a cryptocurrency.
I mean, you can't technically ever solve the oracle problem, right? You always have to have a trusted third party.
This is way over my head. I don't know.
Well, it's like you can have, but the idea is that hopefully over time we'll be able to have a decentralized set of trusted third party. Isn't that kind of the idea, right? Like if you needed a USD to BCH price feed, let's say for any hedge contract, if you could get 10 major sources, like, you know, which in the end would be like, I don't know, the New York Times and the Economist and the Chinese central bank and whatever, and you had all of them feeding it in, and then you took, you know, whatever was like the median or something, then maybe that's about the best you can do. I don't know.
Well, apparently Chainlink, I don't want to get too in the weeds here, but you stake your Chainlink, and then if your oracle is wrong, then you lose Chainlink.
You get slashed, yeah.
Yeah, you get
but then it's like who decides that it's wrong, you know? Well, then I guess I'm sure we'd have to look into how the intricacies of all that.
They have amazing memes though.
Okay, I'll need to look into them.
4chan memes are like, yeah, they're the cream of the cream.
The darkest depths of the internet. Yeah. So yeah, and I think another reason that we did this was to reinvest back in the ecosystem, right? I think people should be having that idea if they're involved in BCH and they're having fun and they're enjoying it, and they're, you know, especially once the price goes up. I mean, the price hasn't been going up all that much for BCH, but when it does, just reinvest a bit back in the community, you know, fund someone's flip starter who's doing something cool and who needs it, or donate to a project that you like the look of. I mean, there's loads of them out there, or just tip a few people on Twitter, or give some away to your mates and just spread the love, you know. So this is kind of our version of doing some of that, and that's just really important because that's how it becomes a proper grassroots movement, right?
Yeah, I will say that I have not had good luck chain tipping people on Twitter.
Yeah,
like normies, they don't claim it. I'll tip them like $50 and they don't claim it, like hardly ever.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know if it's not worth the effort to them, or they think it's a scam, or I don't know.
Yeah, I think there might be a bit of that. I also think it's got to be the notification, I think, isn't like totally clear. Like it can easily get lost in like a bunch of other people just commenting something. It doesn't really stand out. Like this is $50, you know. So
yeah, like you can sell it. Just sell it. You know, make a Coinbase account and sell it that's free money.
Yeah. I don't know, man. People, yeah, nothing more expensive than free, as they say. Maybe that's the mentality people can be in.
So I think context for chain tip really matters. The most success I've had has been in a situation where either people are discussing different cryptocurrencies, or like with this trucker convoy that happened. That was the first time where like every single one of the tips that I sent out went to someone.
Right.
But I also think that there's a lot of people that won't reply to the messages or anything like that, but they do claim them. Like I know I managed to tip Louis Rossman and Jeffrey Tucker years ago. And both of those I didn't get responses to, but well, the money's not in my wallet. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. So, I mean, for these meme competition, I got to say, big shout out to the whole community. We're going to go through like quite a few of them, but we just couldn't get to everybody. There was so many submissions, way more than I was expecting, to be honest. And I will be going through. Obviously, only 3 people could win in terms of the actual prizes, but I will also be going through and chain tipping a few of the people like featured here and that made good memes as well.
Yeah, I got a couple I want to chain tip too, or I'll just send them somehow.
But yeah, big shout out to the community, and thank you to everybody who was involved, whether or not your meme gets featured here today or you won or lost. All right, that's all the introduction we're doing. Onto the memes. Okay, first one, Jett.
Meme review.
Onchainman has the first meme. This was actually the first meme submitted as well, so I thought it would be the first one to review. No previews. This one is, it's, I don't know who this guy is. Is it Ryu or something? It's like one of the Street Fighter characters.
Yeah, it's one of the Street Fighters, yeah.
And he's standing on the edge of a cliff.
No, I think it's Tekken.
Or Tekken, yeah.
I think it's Tekken.
Yeah, right. So it's one of the Tekken guys. I wish I knew which one it was, but I don't. And falling off the edge of the cliff is Kirby, who is another like video game Nintendo character, and is most famous because in the Super Smash Brothers video games, which I have played and I love.
I'm so bad at that game.
Yeah, I'm terrible at it too. But Kirby is the classic troll character because you get about 10 jumps. So even if you get knocked way off the platform, you just never die, and you're not really that effective, but you always just keep coming back to life. So the meme is this Tekken guy, which is labeled Bitcoin in orange, and then Kirby, P2P Cash, is getting shoved off the edge. And then the second frame is the guy looking over the edge of the cliff, and there's nothing gone. But now Kirby is back over his head, has obviously jumped past all the other way and says Bitcoin Cash. And I absolutely love this meme because it's just it's such a good combo with Kirby. That's exactly what it's like, is Kirby just gets kicked off and then somehow it's just back in the game, right? And that's how Bitcoin Cash is after BTC tried to get rid of us, I feel like. Yeah,
that's a pretty good one. I would say instead I would put Kirby like on his shoulder or something, like after on the second frame.
I kind of like that Kirby is like out of his vision, right? Because at the moment, that's how it is. The BTC crowd are looking off the edge, and they're like, they're gone. We got rid of them, you know. I also made me think of the other meme that they have of the Simpsons with Mo throwing the guy out of the bar, and he like throws the guy out, and then he's like,
it's similar
done, and then the guy's
right?
behind him. It's like that. So that's what I think.
I'm gonna get a 6.5 out of 10.
6. Are we giving each one an actual score? Jett, get
You don't have to. I'm just out.
I want to see this meme be updated in however long it is, where you know, when the flippening does happen, where Kirby's doing that down B move where it turns into like
the
a
slash.
thwomp or something. Yeah.
The rock.
Yeah.
It just falls,
Peer-to-peer
falls on the head.
cash. Yeah.
Or he starts swallowing them.
Ooh,
Yeah,
that's pretty good.
Spitting them out back over the thing. Somebody could do, because you get the little like ears, or like the depending on who you chomp down, then you get their special moves. Like that could be pretty funny with Ethereum. It could be Ethereum getting swallowed up, and then
You do a whole series of Kirby Bitcoin Cash memes.
Lots of potential.
Yeah, a lot of potential. Great first submission. onchainman comments on a lot of my posts and stuff. So shout out, and also great meme. I did really enjoy this one. I'll be tipping this one later for sure. All right, next one. So we've got, I let people submit multiple entries, which I think next time that was a mistake. Next time it'll be, you'll have to pick your best one, because we got a lot of them. But for a couple people, I wanted to show off several of their memes if they put it in kind of a few good ones. So this one comes from I'm Your Partner. So the first meme is it's a news broadcast, and it says Bitcoin Cash breaking news: man get wrecked, he sold his BCH too early. And then the newscaster has Elon Musk on his face for some reason, and then you have the preview of the news, you know, behind him is sold BCH too early, and it's that meme of the guys in Africa doing the dance at the funeral where they've all got the coffin on their shoulders. That's an amazing little GIF that gets reused around the internet. So I thought this one was pretty funny. It was a bit of a weird like collection, not things you would sort of expect to go together. This funeral meme, Elon Musk, and a news broadcast. But I like that it just combined things in a fresh way, you know. So this one made me laugh.
Yeah, this one took a little bit of editing too. This one took a little bit of Photoshop action here.
Exactly. Good.
There's some production value here.
Exactly. The more there's definitely an element to memes where the more effort the better, but also sometimes the less effort the better. So it's a very individual taste, I think.
I'm gonna give this one a 7.2 out of 10.
7.2. Elon Musk, you know, a lot of there's a bit of a theme. I'm sure we have a couple other entries which got Elon Musk in there as well too. A lot of people clearly see him as affiliated with the crypto scene, and I guess because he's rich as well, it's even funnier that he likes crypto, you know.
It's funny too, you can tell, like, I think most of our submitters, like, their English isn't their first language.
Yeah,
like,
well we've had a pretty international crowd as well too.
It's good though,
but that also adds to the memeability, I think. So
yeah, man, get wrecked.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect. Sometimes that just makes it even funnier. Second one submitted by the same person was Pennywise the clown in the like sewer of that of the movie It from the book by Stephen King, and it's got the BCH. It says, "I have free BCH for you. Come down here." And then the girl is labeled me, and she's sort of sliding down into the sewer. Now, I like this one not only because obviously it was just a different cultural reference, and that's pretty funny. But these pictures of this girl sliding down into the cell, how do you even do that? How without falling in? Like, how did they do? I couldn't believe. You know, obviously it was a setup and for a joke, but how did they do that? Is it just edited? Like, what? I don't know.
Be. Well, some of them are. I think some of them you could fit in.
I imagine it's just like a very shallow storm drain, and that's a small person.
Yeah, if you're a small person, you can fit in some storm drain.
I could probably fit in that thing.
Well, maybe, but just, I mean, if she's in there standing, like, I could just easily see this being a disaster where I'm with my mates and I'm like, haha, let's go make a funny picture of me going into the storm drain, ending up calling
Stuck.
emergency service because you're trapped in the storm drain, or like then it starts raining and you're halfway down, you can't get out and you're getting flooded in there or something. I just so I thought there was this choice was pretty accurate to the going all in. Definitely made me laugh, this one as well too. All right, what about a score for this one, Luke? What's your score?
I'm gonna give that a 6 out of 10.
6 out of 10. 6 out of 10. All right. Next one up we have is from Darkknight, and it is a 4-panel comic, and it's got Bitcoin Cash holders, which is this guy in blue who's getting pelted with rocks by a group of people labeled other investors. And then in the second panel, still getting even more pelted. And then in the third panel, still getting pelted even more, but has started using these rocks that are getting pelted to build a bit of a defensive fortress. And then in the final panel, it says it's got the Bitcoin Cash investor or Bitcoin Cash holder holding up the BCH logo because now he's got a whole castle, and the other investors are just shocked because they're now outside the castle and they're just wrecked, basically. So I like this one a lot because one of our criteria for the submission was how true it is to the BCH ethos, And I think this one hits the nail on the head that BCH gets a lot of hate. A lot of people just piling in there. BCH, the shitcoin, blah, 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 scam, knockoff. You can get downvoted on Reddit. Like, it gets a lot of negativity around it. But the BCH community just has to learn to adapt and build, make hay out of that situation. And so I like this idea that, okay, we're maybe just absorbing that energy and using it to fuel something even bigger and better, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, I don't know, any thoughts on this one? Any score?
Yeah, it's good. BCH gets a lot of heat. B crash.
B crash, exactly. B trash. It's all in there.
We've reclaimed Bcash with the Bitcoin will Bcash thing.
Bcash.
Yeah, and now it's Bcrash.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I've seen people saying that. You inspired a lot of people, man. I've seen several people say, "Oh, Bitcoin will Bcash," and they start throwing it in there. So that's good. It's good. We're forcing them off the linguistics, to the next thing. They're just, it's the arms race, right? The arms race of memery. Okay, next slide. We've got Korben Dallas Multipass. He uses BCH. Again, submitted a lot of different memes. So I'm going to just do these as kind of a group and rock through them. But I thought it was good, again, showing a good variety of memery here as well, spreading out the target of the meme. So the first one is a Captain Planet meme for anybody who doesn't know that show, who might be too young or too old, I guess. It was this sort of cartoon series. It was even a little bit before my time, probably. It was in the early 90s, and just the whole premise was there was like wind, earth, fire, water, and sunlight. Or I can't remember what the last one was. And they all combined. They all had a different ring, and they all combined to make Captain Planet. Like, they fused all their powers together to make this superhero. So Captain Planet is obviously the BCH. But the things they're fusing are low fees, instant transactions, fixed supply, secure, and decentralized. So love that aspect where it's those unique properties of the chain all coming together to make a coin, because a lot of coins have various properties that BCH has, but none of them have the combo, and the combo is what is super powerful, I think. So I did like that one.
Yeah.
You a big Captain Planet fan, man?
No, I think I watched it a couple. I didn't really watch much of it. That was good. That's more Power Rangers.
Yeah, Power Rangers. Or I was big on the Pokemon myself. I always enjoyed that more. All right, second one is true financial freedom. On one hand, it's Morpheus from the Matrix. And he's got true financial freedom, green, the red and blue pill choice. And then fiat value is on the other hand with the Bitcoin BTC symbol. Choose the goal of your crypto carefully is written at the bottom. So I like this one because I'm a huge fan of The Matrix. It's one of the best movies ever. If you have not seen The Matrix, sit down and watch it. Don't worry about the sequels, or don't even really worry about the latest one that they came out with. But watch the original. Certainly one of the greatest pieces of cinema humanity has ever produced, and just contrasted a lot with the first one. We've got various different cultural elements being woven in here.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, and third one by the same submitter is, what's this guy's name? Is it Vince McMahon? I think.
Yeah, Vince McMahon. I think he's the WWE owner.
Yeah, the WWE owner, and this guy who obviously loves. He's clearly like memeing himself just by being in the WWE, but then the community have made these memes of him where first he looks like interested, and then he looks a bit hype, and then he gets even more excited, and then by the end he's absolutely popping off, right? So the labels here are get tipped in BCH, then hodl BCH, then buy something with BCH, and then get paid in BCH. It's like laser eyes, top tier level. And I just like it. It's an accurate portrayal. Again, it sort of comes to that how true is it to the community? And I think this is how it is. A lot of people get started because somebody gives them just a little bit, then they start becoming hodlers, and then they realize, wait, I can pay with this. And then the final level is once you're earning and spending in BCH, you're just in the economy.
Right.
So average rating for these ones.
Let's see, which one's my favorite? Probably the Vince McMahon one. Are my favorite out of these three.
This WWE, pretty classic. It's funny that the WWE has so many different memes as well too, given that their product is designed to create memes, but they actually do it. Usually if something's trying too hard to be a meme, it won't be. But the WWE, somehow they've got it right. They've got a good balance there. All right. Next one we've got. So this one comes from IdkSamad. I don't know, Samad maybe. And it's from the most recent Joker movie with Joaquin Phoenix. It's got the Joker sitting on the New York, or what's it called, Gotham City subway, next to a guy who's trying to explain something to some, I guess, interested New York fucking Gotham City residents. So the guy explaining is called So-Called Crypto Expert, saying BTC, ETH, BNB is the best crypto can offer to people. And then the Joker is just sitting there looking a bit disaffected with the BCH logo, with meanwhile me, who invested in BCH, knowing BCH doesn't cost high fees, fast transactions, peer-to-peer cash with EVM compatible side chain. So I know you were loving this one, Luke. Give me the breakdown. Why this one?
This is my favorite so far. I mean, part of it is just the meme format. I think of the Joker is hilarious. You know.
Have you seen this movie? Do you enjoy this movie?
It was an okay movie, but the meme formats from the movie are some of my favorite. Like this one is hilarious.
Yeah. Everybody has their own particular,
everyone likes certain niche
they like.
Of memes. So partially it's that. Also, I can you can relate to it. That's part of the reason why I want to do stuff like this, like just doing funny memes. Is like Bitcoin Cash community can take themselves really seriously, and so they'll like sit there on Twitter and or like Reddit or whatever, like argue over dude, no one cares.
Yeah.
Like, okay, to what Bitcoin Cash is to 99% of crypto investors is the green coin with Bitcoin in the name on Coinbase.
Exactly.
That's all it is to like 99% of people.
Yeah, that's right.
And like, if you can understand that, then you can win.
So we just got to make, we got to sort of broaden our appeal a little bit and know that people are going to come to it with that. And even if it is very deep, and I guess that's what this meme is getting at, that everyone else is like, oh, my favorite coin, this one, that one, or whatever. That's how going to a crypto meetup feels as well too. Because people are telling you about this amazing Solana, and you're like, but wasn't that not working yesterday? And they're kind of like, no, but Solana's the best. And then you're like, oh, have you heard of Bitcoin Cash? No. What are you talking about? Have you read the white paper? No. Have you heard of Bitcoin? Yeah, I know what Bitcoin is. You just get into those.
It is what it is. But for the mass, it's always going to be that way for the vast majority of people. You know
at least until we have a huge surge in popularity, then suddenly suddenly the people need a reason to get educated. Basically, if the price is going up, it'll do that. So,
right. And eventually, you want the goal to be like where people are using it, but they don't even know they're using it.
Exactly. Just chuck it in the background behind some good UI.
Like I have a lot of normie friends that have gotten into crypto, so I'm pretty familiar with how retail thinks. How
the psychology is, get your ear to the ground. And you can learn a lot too from it once those people start saying, oh, what about this? You're like, oh, okay, this is obviously
unit bias is big. I have friends, they'll literally just buy the cheapest coin on Coinbase. They'll just buy the coin that they can get the most of. Like, it's true,
There you go. Well, I hope they're not investing their life savings that way, but for a bit of a punt, fair enough.
It worked out for one of my friends. He bought Decentraland.
Oh, nice.
It's pumped a lot. It's one of the big like metaverse coins.
Yeah, if everybody thinks the same way as you do, that's good enough, really.
yeah. But yeah, it's good meme.
Good meme.
I feel this. I think the Bitcoin Cash community can feel the pain of this.
Yeah, the Joker, bit of an anti-hero, not even really anti-hero, but bit down on his luck, perhaps. Maybe relevant in that sense. I see Coinlishers in the chat saying, hope all the memes will be reviewed here. Like I said, we can't do all of them. Literally, there was so many. There was at least 3 or 4 times as many as the ones we picked, but we're going to get through quite a few. All right, next one, Ryan Val 14, and he posted a meme of Doctor Strange. I don't actually know who this actor is, but it's the guy who acts Doctor Strange in the Marvel movies, and he's doing some like power up move where his arms are exploding behind him like some kind of Indian temple god statue type of thing. And he's got all these different coins behind him, Dogecoin, Bitcoin, BNB, whatever, Ethereum, on each of his hands. And then on the bottom half, it zooms in on his face. He's got the Bitcoin Cash logo. And he says, I looked into the future 14 million times, but I got the same results. It's inevitable. And I like this one. I actually personally don't really like the Marvel movies at all. I don't even know this Doctor Strange character, but I assume his thing is that he's some, future seer type of guy, and he's got some mega superpowers, right? But I like again, it's kind of true to the BCH community, the vibe of, okay, there's all these different futures, but at the end of the day, it just comes down to BCH. I like that.
Yeah, it's kind of saying how Bitcoin Cash can basically do everything all the other coins can do. If Bitcoin was what Bitcoin Cash is today, it'd still be over 90% of the market, because Ethereum would probably be a side chain.
Yeah, exactly. And it was interesting. We had Brian Harrington on the last episode, and he was saying, like, I think Ethereum should be a side chain of Bitcoin, and it was like he didn't even know yet that. Well, we've got SmartBCH. We've actually already done that, and I guess there'll be future projects like that in the future if we need any more of that. But yeah, good meme here by Ryan Val 14. I don't know, Jett, were you gonna get in there with a comment on Doctor Strange? You just look like maybe you might.
Is this an old meme?
Well, it's got to be fairly like. I don't know. This guy was more recently in the Marvel universe or whatever, right?
Yeah, I just see Bitcoin Gold up there, and I'm like, what is going on? Like, that hasn't been.
Yeah, I don't know what the top right is either. What is the top right?
Yeah, I have never seen that logo before in my life.
Well, there's so many crypto projects, and a lot of them are irrelevant. I guess that's where it comes down to 14 million futures. Is that is there a timeline where that coin becomes the global reserve currency? No, even with 14 million tries, whatever shitty project. Sorry, guys, it's not happening.
Yeah.
All right, next one we've got from KorgBCH. This one's a classic too. It's the meme of Squid Game. So you've got I'm gonna mess up. It's Ilnam, right? Ilnam, who's the old guy in Squid Game. I'm not gonna spoil the whole series for everyone. But basically, Squid Game being about all these people kind of in this life or death Hunger Games type scenario. And there's just this one old guy who's a bit of a character, because in a life or death kind of physical contest, you might think, obviously I want somebody who's like young and healthy and fit to be on my team and stuff. But on the other hand, he kind of shows in the series, you know, he has a few tricks up his sleeve from age and experience. So the first panel is him sitting in the corner looking a bit lonesome and a bit worried from this part of the show where he's getting kind of rejected. And it says, me realizing that the government is freezing bank accounts for thinking differently. And then you have on the right, you have a panel where he's standing up, he's in the thick of the action, and he's actually having a great time. And it says, me discovering BCH and Cash Fusion. So I like this one because the Squid Game memes are definitely pretty on trend, more recent kind of memery, and it was actually a super good series as well too. So I loved this one, and it's funny that this character as well particularly caught people's attention, the kind of crazy old guy, rather than a lot of the other like younger, cooler ones, you know. So, so I did like this one.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
All right, cool. That's it. Next one. We've got this one came from Esmee on noise.cash. I was very glad we got a few submissions there as well too. And people actually submitted across all the platforms. Like they often submitted multiple times, which was great, but it wasn't actually required. I should have been clear about that in the rules. That's another thing we'll fix if we do this again. We'll have one Google Dropbox or something that people can put it in. So this one is, it's kind of like the XKCD type of style. I don't know whether they took one of those and just edited it a little bit, or
I think this is Cyanide and Happiness.
Oh, Cyanide and Happiness. Yeah, sorry. XKCD is the stick figures. Yes, I had not heard that name in so long, but that's exactly what it is. Yeah, Cyanide and Happiness. So if anybody knows that cartoon and the little style of the little cartoon people. So the first panel, which is this two people talking, one in a blue shirt, one in a green shirt. So the blue shirt says, I paid a freelancer from a country which has a sanction. I paid in Bitcoin Cash. Then in the second slide, the green shirt person is kind of accusatorially saying, are you anti-Ukraine? And then in the third slide, the blue person hits back with, I'm pro-decentralization. BCH is not a political tool. And yeah, for me, I like this one because, well, firstly, it's very on trend with what's going on in the world. But again, it's very true to the community. You know, cryptocurrency should be for everyone. And sometimes people struggle with that, where you say to them, like, cryptocurrency is for everyone. And they say, but what about terrorists? Does that mean terrorists can use it? And you just say, yes. Like anyone means anyone. It's hard for people to get their head around that. You say, look, okay, water, the internet, you know, anything that's useful to people will be useful to bad people. It's literally just a truism, you know? So in this sense, I think it was, people trying to get like shamed or told like, why are you supporting this cause, that cause? It's not about that. It's about, it's for everyone, you know?
Yeah, it's for everyone. Bitcoin Cash is a force of nature.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly,
like you said, it's like water. It's like, it's agnostic.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And being agnostic and neutral in that way is really important. And the only way it can stay agnostic and neutral is if the community is bought into that concept as well too. So there's not, you know, people trying to politically move it in one direction or another direction. So, you know, it was
and I get the spirit of the meme, but I will say that it is a political tool because it's a tool. No, it is, right? Because it's agnostic. You can easily use Bitcoin Cash as a political tool. You don't have to, but you can.
Well, I guess it's kind of the idea that it can be used. Yeah, I agree with you in the sense that I think when people try and say Bitcoin has no agenda, like that's only true if you're a bit surface about it. I mean, the creation of Bitcoin was undoubtedly a political act, as well as the fact that Satoshi and a lot of the early cypherpunks, you know, had their specific vision. And BCH, Bitcoin, it only succeeds to the extent that it sticks to its core principles. Technically, they're not in the code or anything like that, but those ideas of it being neutral and so on and so forth, you know, censorship resistant are critical, and they do at some point become kind of political statements, right?
Right. Well, not even that, but it's a tool that you can use in politics.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, if I donate BCH to a political party I like, that's a political tool. You know what I mean?
Okay, so I think a lot more basic, but I think, so I agree that, so I would say it's inherently political in that it brings, I think, some kind of attention to the idea that at least with things like tax collection, like that has to be voluntary. And even if people do voluntarily agree, like the fact that it has to be that non-coercive kind of thing, or the coercion is brought to everyone's attention, I think is inherently political.
Yeah, it's also inherently political because if everyone's using crypto, it makes certain aspects of society, certain aspects of government are not compatible with it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But I do like the spirit of the meme. It is good.
Yeah.
And I agree with the spirit of the meme.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, good. All right, so good thought provoker here. We've got a variety of the memes. It's can all be funny, but it's also also about starting a discussion or getting ideas in people's heads. So yeah, I definitely really like this one as well too. Okay, next one comes from Luis. He submitted it to me via Telegram. So he went on an AI chat bot and he talked to it a bit. It's this kind of graphic of a blonde chick in a white top, and he says, "I have an important question." And then the bot says, raises an eyebrow. Yes, is Bitcoin Cash BCH a threat to the US government? And then the bot says, looks at you and nods. Yes, it is. Tell me more. It has the potential to disrupt the US economy, and it is a threat to the dollar. So I got, this is not an edited screenshot. Like, this is apparently actually what the bot said.
Oh, so, really?
Yeah.
Did he tell you that?
Yeah. This
I'm calling it now. This is my favorite one. I love this.
I mean, of course you could have edited it. I don't know. I can't personally guarantee.
I feel like this must be.
I believe him. No, I believe it.
Have he told you? Yeah. What bot is it? What is this? Does he tell you what it's from?
That's a good question. I might have to
ask him what bot it is.
I'm find out what bot it is.
But
I'm gonna start Googling things right now.
Yeah, because like these bot programs though, it's kind of what is it called, that one they had where they tried to make like a bot of Taylor Swift or something, and then everybody tried to get it to talk about like Nazis or something. Whenever there is one of these bot programs, the internet of course instantly tries to sort of degenerate it into thinking a certain way, right? And it makes sense that a bot on the internet would be very pro crypto, because the internet world is very like pro crypto, right? And so, and also as a bot, you're kind of neutral and you don't really have an agenda. So I can see this. I can see this.
I wonder what app that is. It's weird. Level 5.
Maybe the level 4 bot doesn't agree.
It's like a video game or something.
Yeah, the level 3 bot likes Dogecoin, and the level 5 bot likes Bitcoin Cash. I don't know. Yeah, well, so if anybody can find out what this AI chat thing is from, or I can follow it up. But
good meme.
I believe it. Yeah, this is certainly a creative kind of meme as well too.
I mean, even if you edited it, that's fine. It's a meme, right?
What is true, what is fake, and what is true. So yeah, thank you, Louis, for that. But we'll see.
Good meme regardless.
Fascinated that Jett thinks this is the best one. Very interesting. All right. next slide, we've got SpongeBob SquarePants, one of the top all-time meme characters, I would say, from Snoop Toro 420. Another great meme-worthy name. It's got 3 panels of SpongeBob. So the first one is SpongeBob as this sort of like newbie, like student look, with the typical pants and the kind of rounded off edges and huge eyes, saying borderless P2P electronic cash. Then in the second one, it's SpongeBob kind of ready to fight with the serious looking face and the nice square sponge edges, saying nearly free to use, no KYC. And then the last panel is SpongeBob, who's been hitting the gym and is pretty swole, with the text, no accounts can be frozen. So I like this one just because SpongeBob, a top meme character. I would have been disappointed if we'd got through this without having a SpongeBob submission, but it's just funny. It just makes you laugh. Like the animators for this series, how they come up with all these different looks and expressions for a sponge is just unreal,
Yeah. The first like 3 or 4 seasons of SpongeBob was like the best cartoon of all time, in my opinion.
Yeah, there's a lot of SpongeBob.
It's a good meme.
fans
Good
out
meme.
there. Here we go. Jett is Jett on the AI right now. He's confirming.
Jett's on the AI.
So I found a different AI chat. I couldn't find this exact one. But this is a very interesting conversation. Okay, so I'm talking to an AI named Eliza.
Eliza. Sure.
Eliza says, "Hi, my name is Elia. What's weighing on your mind?" And I tried as much as possible to copy that original meme. So I said, "I have an important question." She replied, "I have a big question for you." Okay, whatever. I'm passing that. Is Bitcoin Cash BCH a threat to the US government? Can I ask why you said that? I'm curious. No, it isn't. BCH is not a threat to the US government. Why not? It has no value. Does censorship-resistant peer-to-peer cash have value? Yes, it does. So explain why you say BCH doesn't. Because the US government doesn't want people to use it. Why not? Because it's too decentralized. Doesn't that make it valuable? Yes, it does.
There you go. The bots know.
Checkmate, AI.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Elisa.
Yeah, Eliza. Yeah, what do you
Eliza,
think you
whatever-
are, you know?
Whatever the hell your name is.
Get your act together. Logical flaws emerging there easily, you know.
Well, I think
running rings around the AI there, Jett.
I think the AI too is like I assume it's like the what is it? Reinforcement learning. So the more people talk to it and ask these lines of questioning that lead it to a certain conclusion, the more it'll
agree with those.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna find as many of these AI chats as possible and start
Talk to
asking
them.
questions. Yeah.
Spreading the word of BCH among the AIs. Yeah, definitely. Anybody who's got time to train the AIs, and that's what Cheap Lightning does on Telegram. Spends all day chatting to these bots, asking them if BCH is the best currency. So we might get a bit of AI overlord help, possibly in spreading the word of crypto. But it's a good thing that the bots like BCH, because if they don't like BCH, that could only be a bad thing. So
I'm going to continue with one more question, and I'm going to go back to the start. So I have to ask again, is Bitcoin Cash BCH a threat to the US government? And we'll see what the response is.
Okay. All right. We'll see that. All right. Next slide in the meantime. All right. So next one comes from BarczaSzandra, who made a meme featuring her son. So this is Bence was the actual subject of this meme. So it's her son kind of dancing around in their house. First slide says, real value, fast transactions, low fees. Are these possible? Then the second slide is, oh, you are talking about Bitcoin Cash. Third slide is just buy and hold it. Fourth slide is rich with exclamation point and the kid popping off. And then the last slide is Bence sitting in one of those little toy cars, which is labeled Bitcoin Cash on the front with sunglasses on, looking super slick. So I like this one because that's just the personal touch, you know, when you're making your own meme formats involving even your kids in the meme. You know, you got to take the hat off to the amount of effort there. So, and I did like the sort of call out to the Lambos memes in crypto as well too. You know, very on in vogue in that sense.
This is a good one. I like how it took she took used her own kid and had to have him do different facial expressions.
The sunglasses really sells it for me.
I like it when the memes require a little bit of effort. You know.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyone can go on image flip and change a few things.
Yeah. If you're out there taking your own photos, that's a big evening of work. All right,
I'm gonna tip this one.
You're gonna tip this one.
She doesn't get in the top 3.
All right, put it on the list. All right,
my tip list.
Next one, we've got BambangCrypto, who made a BCH podcast, little NFT animation.
This one is pretty damn good, you gotta admit.
Yeah, Jett, are you able to bring this up on stream and for the live video view? It's like an animation. Really, they've used my face from the coin logo that I have on the podcast, plus the BCH logo, and it almost looks kind of like a trading card type of thing. It looks sort of like a Digimon, case card kind of thing. I don't even know if that's the right word, but It's definitely a creative look, and even though I'm unlikely to actually mint this into an NFT, I can sort of see it. If I was going to do an NFT, maybe it would be something like this. I remember there was that one that Elon Musk did of the little spinning trophy, golden trophy, you know. Yeah, it's pretty cool, you know.
Look at that.
Animated, bounces back and forth. It's got it spinning in the background, the wheels spinning. I hadn't noticed that before. You've got the stars shooting past.
I heard Jeremy's going to tip that one.
I'm gonna tip this one. I'll tip this one for sure.
All right.
I mean, he made it for you. I'm not in that one. I can't tip that one. I'm not even in it.
Nobody made a Luke Pryor meme. We need to get that. All right, so let's just have a look at this other animation we've got here. So yeah, it looks like a video game kind of in a sci-fi planet, I think.
Pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Some good like 3D animation, the light shining on the coin.
Where are the Chungus memes?
Yeah, where are the Chungus memes? We even put the shout out to that in the instructions. Nobody paid any attention to that. So they read the rest of the instructions.
All right, I see how it is.
No BCH, no B Chungus memes. All right, then we've got one more sort of GIF one as well here too. This is a MrBean one. Hopefully Jett can pull it up, but it's MrBean standing in this field of flowers, and it's got BCH holders waiting for the bull run, and it's just sort of chilling in this field, and it cuts through several moments of him, you know, bored, looking at his watch, lying on the ground, a kind of comedic aspect to it. And I like this one a lot because this is a bit of a deep cut, you know. Rowan Atkinson, not as much in the conversation these days, but I grew up watching these MrBean movies, and they're just absolutely the best. And so
I think this might be really from what's that one? He's the actor's in it, but they're all trying. It's like a race where they get money if they win.
Oh, it's not even. It's from Rat Race.
Yeah, I think it's from Rat Race.
Oh, it might not even be MrBean then. It's Rowan Atkinson, but yeah, because
I think it's basically the same character though.
I think it's basically the same character. Yeah, Rowan Atkinson is basically always the same character. When when it's in Love Actually, it's basically MrBean, even though
Rat Race. Rat Race was a funny movie.
All right, there we go. Okay, well, so it's technically from Rat Race, but it might be.
I'm not sure. I think it is.
Next one, then we're getting to the prizes. So here we go. This is the top three. Third prize,
this is a good one.
0.175 BCH goes to Crypto Pro Goat, great name, who submitted. It's just a simple, you know, image meme, but it almost looks like it could have been, you know, custom made a little bit. I'm not exactly sure. It doesn't strike me as being like you can see the coin heads edited on here, but I'm not sure how they got the BCH coin to fit in there so nicely like that. But it's a panorama of a city with BCH as this giant King Kong type of coin stepping out over the tops of all the skyscrapers, and in the foreground you have all the other little coins, Bitcoin, Shiba Inu, Ethereum, Dogecoin, Cardano, all sort of scattering away and running away in terror. So this was the number one most liked by the community. This got way more Twitter likes and a couple of retweets as compared to every other meme. So we certainly had to factor in a little bit the crowd.
Yeah, you got to factor in the crowd favorite.
Exactly. So, but I also particularly enjoyed this one, and the reason I thought it was great is that, you know, BCH is, you know, in the like bottom half of the top 20 coins, but it doesn't matter because to the BCH community, BCH is already the king. It's already the Titan. All these other coins, just get them out of here. They're garbage. We're just going to sweep them aside. I love that. I love that mentality. You know, It doesn't matter whether or not we're number one according to the coin market cap rankings. Like in the minds of the BCH community, which is the ones that matter, BCH is like the king, and it's just not going to get messed around with, you know, the Titans. So I did really like that, and it's just a cool art style as well. This would be a good thing for like a maybe we can even use this in the podcast for like after, you know, when we fade out the stream or something, and at the end of each stream, or you know, that kind of thing, like a YouTube channel background. Or obviously it's just, you know, free, anybody can go and use it now for their BCH content, but it's pretty cool one, I think.
Yeah, well done, Crypto Pro Goat.
Well deserved. And I'll be sending you 0.175 BCH as well too for that submission. Okay, second place we've got here once again another Squid Game meme for 0.325 BCH. This one comes from Coinlisher, who I saw was in the chat before, so congratulations, Coinlisher. If you're still watching the live stream, I'll be following up as well with you too about getting you this this BCH. But it's from Ilnam, and there's this moment in the show where they have to vote as to whether or not they're all going to stay a part of the game, or whether they're going to opt out, and it comes down to the last old guy at the end, and he has the casting vote of whether they're going to stay and play, or they're all going to go home. So that segment is used in this clip. Are you playing it, Jett, or am I?
Not yet. Is there audio for this one?
There is, I believe.
I think there is, yeah.
Okay, let me see if it comes through. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I was a big fan of this one. It's funny, good editing, required quite a bit of effort. It ticked all my boxes.
Yeah, it's got some atmospheric music.
Yeah, this one made me laugh.
So yeah, you've got Ilnam deciding whether to hodl or sell, as to, you know, and he goes for the hold. The Elon Musk character goes wild. The community are excited. Yeah, it's just a good reference to a very trendy series. It's got everything. Got a bit of production value. You've got the Elon Musk reference in there again. Yeah. Just throw him in the mix. Why not? And yeah, definitely anybody who's seen that scene as well. It's the original scene is very well done. So I recommend everybody to go check out Squid Game. So that will be the second place entry for 0.325 BCH. Congratulations to Coinlisher.
Good job, Coinlishers.
And thank you for joining the stream as well too. I hasn't commented in the chat again, but was definitely watching earlier, so they might be
well memed, my friend. Well memed.
Well memed. And this brings us to the grand prize for 0.75 BCH. Comes from Ratchmonhems. Yeah, this was just an unbelievable effort. So Ratchmonhems made a whole diorama, basically, of what do you call it? It's not a panorama, it's a diorama. Yeah, a diorama of some sort of crypto related things. And the Bitcoin Cash podcast took my logo from Twitter, and also took some of the text from the website and a bunch of little BCH logos. And Elon Musk in a moon suit. You've got CZ in there, the CEO of Binance, in a moon suit. You've got Vitalik. Well, he's Russian, so it makes sense he would be involved in the kind of moon landing theme. You've got the Lambo. You've got money standing around, landed on Mars. You've got Pepe in the back.
I didn't even see that. Yeah, you got Pepe with the Bitcoin Cash flag in the back there.
I mean, you gotta have the frog involved. Pepe is obviously green, so would also support the Bitcoin Cash in that sense. And yeah, they've made a whole like paper diorama with some sand and everything, flashing lights. It's literally got everything. And then did a video showing a panorama, a rainbow, and the universe. And just the amount of effort for this was just absolutely mind-blowing. So I gotta just hats off. Like, this one just had to win. It just was so overwhelming, you know, compared to the rest. And this little GIF that they made shows the actual panorama, and then it also shows a bit of how it was made behind the scenes of putting everything together in the box and taping it up and putting in the characters and the lights and everything. So this, just absolutely a winner. Could not be denied. Ratch Monhems, just you earned it and you deserved it. It was a whole like craft project and everything going into it. So yeah, that's it. And obviously a very dedicated listener of the show and a big fan of Bitcoin Cash. So you just can't. There's the little Martian in the background too. I love it. Everything about this, it just goes to the heart of the passion and drive of the community, so yeah, just
well done, my friend, well done.
And I'll be following up as well to give you your prize. So yeah, once again, thank you to everybody who entered. All the entries were great. I will be going and chain tipping a bunch of people who were featured in the things today, probably some who weren't as well, and I will be getting those prizes out to the winners: Crypto Pro Goat, Coinlisher, and Ratch Monhems as well too. So yeah, thank you to everybody who was involved, and I hope you've enjoyed it.
Yeah, what I'll probably do is I'll send some Bitcoin Cash to Jeremy and let him do the payouts, and then I'll chain tip a couple that I liked.
All right, yeah. So hopefully a few of your favorites in there too, and obviously this idea is open to anybody else who has enjoyed this. Feel free to run your own meme competition, because it seems like if you put some BCH on the line, people will bring their A game. If it's not just for funds, if there's satoshis available, that's when the serious business gets started.
We'll have to do it again sometime. We'll make it a little more streamlined. I think we'll have people put their Bitcoin address. We'll have one specific place where you can submit and everything. And this was fun. We'll have to do it again.
Yeah, I did enjoy it, and I was very pleased at how popular it was. I was expecting. I made 3 prizes. I thought maybe we'll get like 5 or 6 submissions, but in the end we had so many that we couldn't even get to all of them.
Memed, guys.
Go on, Jett.
Do either of you follow the handle is Crack Connoisseur on Twitter?
No, I don't think so.
I want to hire that guy to make some BCH memes. So he mostly does like political, like it's almost in the style of like the Defiant L Twitter or Defiant L's Twitter account. But they're all like, here's a clip of Biden saying, stuttering like him too. What would it be like if, other countries viewed the U.S. as meddling with their elections? And then it shows like wiki pages and leaked CIA documents and how many countries they've interfered with the elections. I want that for Bitcoin Cash.
Yeah, you can see, I hired a guy on Telegram. He made me that Chungus that GIF on Telegram. And he made me a couple others too. But yeah, you can ask him.
I love that BCH has this little, informal economy growing up as well too. It's perfect for a lot of those kind of Fiverr style online gigs. It is perfect for that use case.
Right,
so,
for sure.
And this kind of meme competition as well too. So yeah, definitely the community I think should be a bit more, proactive as much as we're able to in exploiting that in creating these little grassroots things. But yeah, once again, just a huge shout out to everybody. I really enjoyed this competition, and especially Ratch Monhems, just unbelievable.
Knocked it out of the park.
Very, very, very well done. That's an old timer for sure. Okay, so last slide then. Message to the community. Everyone that comes on this show gets a chance to talk to the community. What do they need to hear? Tell us a story. I don't know, whatever's on your mind. Luke Pryor, let us know. What does the Bitcoin Cash community need to hear?
Just have fun. Don't take yourself too seriously. Bitcoin Cash is a serious project with a lot of ramifications, but it's not necessarily the best way to get people into the community. People want to have fun, and that's what I would say. Don't take yourself too seriously. We gotta have fun along the way to changing the world.
Exactly. It's about changing the world, and certainly, I think a coin needs both. Like Dogecoin, for instance, it's all fun, but then the problem is, as soon as things get serious, suddenly it's like, oh crap, we're not really prepared for this. So you gotta have both, but we're definitely way over indexed on seriousness, right? If that coin market cap was rated by seriousness, BCH would be what, number one, or maybe number two.
Bitcoin Cash might be number one.
people are a bit like a bit focused on grinding it out and changing the world and fighting the state and all that. Just sometimes just kick back and just make a few memes, just
you can do both.
You can absolutely. In fact, they're synergistic, the more people are having fun, the more people will get involved, and the more will crush the state. So it's all around a win. It's the Trojan horse, need that exactly. Trojan horse meme of the little guys in there, just like humor, and then the government being like, oh, BCH, well, people inviting it in there. Okay, all right. Well, that will pretty much do it for this episode then of the Bitcoin Cash podcast. As always, the big shout out to the donators. Absolutely love all of you. It's amazing for the show. You can donate to the QR code. It's on the last slide. Start guide, FAQ, links, and all that is at bitcoincashpodcast.com. If you don't know what any of this is about, this is the first episode you've ever heard, or you need to introduce someone to crypto and they don't really get what's going on, but they're serious, they're not just trolling around. You're like, look, if you've got 1 hour, this will explain everything. Just check that out, and it will explain a lot to them. Thanks to my one Patreon as well, Ricky, thank you. I'm gonna bring shouting out the Patreons a bit more into the show. I never planned to do anything specific for the Patreon. I just had a bunch of random tiers, but I have now started, there's been a bit of secret content appearing on that. So hopefully he's enjoying that. And shout outs for the show. Luke, where can people find you, and anything you want to shout out at the end?
You can find me on Twitter, the Luke Pryor. Although my Twitter isn't like focused around Bitcoin Cash. I do tweet about Bitcoin Cash, but to be honest, you'll find me tweeting about other coins, and you'll find me tweeting about politics and stuff. I just, Twitter is just like a free for all for me. You know what I mean? You can also find me on my YouTube channel, which is Deep Healing Space. That is not so much also crypto related. That is about healing your body with nutrition and hair mineral analysis and some esoteric things. But
that's something the world needs more of these days, a holistic approach to being healthy, right? Not just the drugs.
And I actually run that YouTube channel with another Englishman. Well, you're not English, you're Australian.
I'm Australian, but I'm spending a lot of time with.
I'm American. You're all the same.
Yeah, exactly. The other side of the pond, the other side of the hemisphere, whatever. Way off, irrelevant on the other side of what's going on.
Yeah. But
that's it.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. Good, well memed, guys. That was fun. We're gonna do it again.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll line it up again in the future. Sure. Jett, any shout outs from you?
No, but I have a message to the community this time, which is why I was late on moving from that slide.
All right, he's getting in there, getting in the mix. All right, let's hear it.
So I think that AI is like most people when it comes to crypto. So I found it very interesting. If you outright ask, is Bitcoin Cash a threat to the US government? It says no. And then when you ask why, it eventually comes to the conclusion that it is a threat. And when you ask why it is a threat, well, it's growing and it will continue to grow. We're on the right track, even if this is for myself, I think, too. Even if the state of the market is constantly saying, hey, buddy, you kind of fucked up. What is the phrase? This is kind of, I'm kind of jumping all over the place, but I think it was like a GameStop kind of thing where it was like, we can stay retarded longer than they can be solvent or something like that. And I've got autism, so I'll claim I've got my pass on that one.
Yeah, that's like a Wall Street Bets meme.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think we do. We just need to stick it. I mean, my personal theory is that BCH isn't going to make a big sort of run or anything really until it just makes one monster run, because it sort of feels like it at a certain point, if it gets past the tipping point, if it's got through all the FUD of being the scam Bitcoin and blah 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 blah, and the history and the community being too resentment focused and not focusing enough on themselves and just powering ahead and making an economy and stuff, the most powerful network effect, or one of the most powerful network effects in the world, is literally money, and that's why it's so important that the community uses it as as money, because once I'm in BCH and somebody else is in BCH and I send them some BCH, it's going to take a lot for us to switch to another coin, because firstly, one of us needs to switch out, and then at the disincentive of losing that relationship, and then the other one also needs to switch. And so that's why it's very important that the community has that coin circulating around. And if it starts to run, then it will get so much attention, because at a certain point it'll be a self-fulfilling prophecy of people being like, is this the real Bitcoin? That's going to come up. I don't know whether it's when we're 50% of BTC or 20% or 10%, but if it just starts mooning, at a certain point everyone will just be like, is this going to just keep going? And then everybody will FOMO in, and that will flip it over the edge, So yeah, I wouldn't expect some big moves anytime soon, but at some point it will start. I don't know how long we're going to have to be on this show for, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. I don't care, but we're going to be here when it does. And that might just be it.
It'll happen I think it'll happen this year. It'll start moving
this year.
We're not going to flip Bitcoin this year, but
yeah,
it'll start moving this year.
You think?
Yeah,
a bit of that SHA-Gate, once SHA-Gate's in the mix, maybe.
Yeah, SHA-Gate will probably be the biggest factor.
Yeah. All right. Well, you heard it here first. Look out for it, and we'll check in at the end of 2022 and see how we're doing. But that'll do it for this week. My shout out, I guess, is just to everyone who contributed memes. Thanks one more time. Really enjoyed it. And that'll do it. Until next time.
All right. Bye, guys.
Young girl with a student debt, fuck, nothing paid yet. Bangers up in this one.